What's up, everybody? For today's vlog, I'm going to show you how to measure, cut, and install stair stringers. We have a lot of them going in here. It's 12 feet this way and 12 feet that way. It wraps around this whole side, so I'm going to show you how to figure it out, how to mark the boards, how to cut them, and then how to put them together. So it's going to be a good one. First step, figuring out your total rise. Now we're putting in a paver patio, so we can kind of adjust it to what we need. I'm gonna do 3 6.5 inch risers, which equals 19.5 inches. So in the case that you were falling onto an existing slab or an existing patio, all you would do is put your level on here, go to the end of your stairs and measure up. And then whatever your total is, divide it by the amount of steps that you want. Traditionally, you're going to want somewhere between 6 inches and like 7.5 inches per riser. And whatever's closest to that, that's how many steps you're going to do. And then you can go to your next step, which is marking out the 2x12s and cutting those. Now that we have our heights figured out, we're going to mark out this stringer and get it cut. All you're going to want to do is set up top of the board to 6.5. And our run is going to be 10 inches because we want 2 deck boards on here and we want it to overhang 1 inch. So we'll set this up right at 6.5. This side's right at 10. Josh, get close for this. We'll mark that out. That's our first step outline. So after that, you're just going to go to the next one. And let's see, set it up right where this intersects at our last mark, set up 6.5 and set it up at 10. Double check it, make sure you're right on, and cut another one. Now we have 2 of them traced out. The interesting thing here is that the way that we build our stairs, we're gonna nail a 2x on the back of this to connect all of our stringers, and we're gonna set that below the height of the deck. So that is actually going to create the first rise, will be the rim joist of the deck. So we actually only need 2 risers on these because the third riser is going to be that rim joist. So the way that we do this gets a little bit confusing with the top stair and the bottom stair. And because this is only going to have 2 risers, the third riser will be that rim joist. It's extra confusing here, but if you know how to do it like this, you'll know how to do it for any amount of stairs. The bottom one, we took 1 inch off of that, so that's only 5.5 inches. When we put the deck board on top, it's gonna give us that 6.5 inch rise that we want. And now on the back of this top stringer, because we're gonna nail a plate on the back, we're gonna actually subtract 1.5 inches from the back of this top cut. So, easy way to do that with a framing square, this is 1.5 inches wide. So you can just line this up with the side of our cut that was 10 inches. That's our new mark. That's gonna get cut off. Here is our first stringer. So we're gonna cut this out and use this as a template for the rest of our stringers, and we got a lot of them. So we got our first one cut. Josh did a great job with it. And what's gonna happen is it's gonna go like this. So you can see we have 3 risers, but the stringer only consists of 2. So we'll be putting a 2x on the back of this to join all the stringers together. And then we'll mount it just like this. And like I said, we'll be adjusting the grade here quite a bit for our patio. So our patio is going to be right here at the finished height, and we'll be good to go. So with the first one cut, we put a T on there so we know that this is the template, and we're going to use this one to trace all the other ones. You want to use the same piece to trace because you trace this, cut this maybe a tiny bit off, and then you use that one to trace the next one. By the time you finish, you could have a big inconsistency. So make sure you use the same one to trace all of your stringers. And it'll be especially important here because we have like 26 stringers to cut. There's one. All you want to do is line up the tops with the top of the board and line up the back with the last cut of this one so that you can maximize how many you're getting out of each piece. And you'll also want to treat the tops of them before you're done. So I'll show you that in a little bit. I'm gonna finish tracing these. Josh is gonna cut them, and we can start putting them together. Another thing you'll notice is how we have this offset from our backer board. We have this sticking up 1 inch here because this is going to slide right up against our rim joist, and our rim joist right here is 7.5 inches. We want the rise to be 6.5. So these sitting up 1 inch is going to give us the rise that we need, and this is going to slide right up against that rim joist, and then we'll secure it into place. Now that these guys are moving on the cutting and the assembly, I'm going to start digging out the holes. We have this machine here. You definitely don't need a machine like this to dig the holes. You can use regular post hole diggers and you'll make out just fine, but we have the machine here, so we're going to use it. These holes are going to be for the support posts for the stairs. Those are going to get sunk in concrete, get anchored together, and that way the stairs are super solid and they're not going to move at all. We got everything cut and ready to go. Our 2 sets are assembled. They're gonna wrap around this corner here. So we have our nailers up. We're ready to put these into place, screw them in, and then we can put our posts in with concrete to secure everything. One of the last things that we're doing is nailing on this 2x4, which is going to keep everything straight. It's also going to be what we will anchor our 4x4 posts into so that everything stays just right, doesn't sink, doesn't move. That's pretty much it for these stair stringers. Everything's installed. We put those 4x4 posts in, and then we anchored them in concrete and secured them with some GRK lags, so they're good to go. Nothing's gonna move. That'll be set up tomorrow when we can get our framing inspection, and then we can start on the decking. So stay tuned. Now you know how to install some stringers.